EA Sports. It's in the game.
Limitless. The ability to break free. To experience golf in ways you never thought possible. Taking your game to levels once only dreamed of. Welcome to the next generation of golf. This is EA Sports Rory Mcllroy PGA Tour. Hello again, everyone. This is Rich Lerner here to walk you through some lessons on how to play EA Sports Rory Mcllroy PGA Tour. We'll start with lessons that teach you how to set up different shots. Let's get started. The first thing you need to know is how to aim your shot. Change your aim direction to aim at the targets and pass this lesson. Picking the right club is another key to shot selection. Your current club is always displayed here. Change your club to aim at the targets and pass this lesson. There are 6 basic shot types built into the game for you to use. Your current shot type is always displayed here. A full shot aims your club at its maximum distance. A choke shot aims you a little shorter than the club's maximum distance. A punch shot is a low shot used to get out of the trees or keep the ball under the wind. A pitch shot is useful when you get near the green. A flop shot is useful near the green when you need the ball to stop quickly. A chip shot is useful when you are right next to the green and have a lot of room to work with. Creating custom shots starts with knowing how to change your aim distance. Change your aim distance to aim at the targets and pass this lesson. You can further customize your shots by using shot shaping. Your shot shaping meter will show up here when you are actively using it. Change your shot shape to aim through the rings and pass this lesson. There are 3 different ways to play the game. Each offers a unique swing mechanic and supporting settings. The arcade style uses a simple analog stick swing. Additional aids like zoom and an aiming arc make this an easy and fun way to play. When you pull down on the swing stick, the golfer's animation will begin. The backswing meter will begin to fill. When the meter gets full, you want to push up on the swing stick. A readout of your swing will appear after you hit your shot. The arcade style also gives you the ability to boost your power and add spin to shots. The power boost meter will show you how much power you are adding to your shot. The spin meter shows you the speed and direction of your mid-air spin. The arcade style automatically shortens your swing animation as you aim for shorter shots. The backswing meter will fill quicker and the animation will come to a stop sooner. Now that you know how to play and your training is complete, you can keep this style, practice some more, or choose a different style. So many historic moments have played out before our eyes in major championships, and today, two of the top players in the world are set to tee off. Rory Mcllroy holding a one-shot lead over Martin Kaymer. It's the final round of the U.S. Open Championship at Chambers Bay.
Going into the final round of any golf tournament with a chance to win, especially a major championship, it's a huge buzz. That's the only way I can describe it. It's the best feeling a golfer can have because you're in the mix and you're in with a chance to win one of the biggest tournaments in the world. It's an incredible feeling. It's something that you may only get to experience a handful of times in your life. So, that atmosphere, you want to soak it in as much as you can and really enjoy it.
Rory Mcllroy coming off a strong performance yesterday, now making his way to that first tee box and looking to add another major championship trophy to his already growing collection.
And Rich, there's no doubt both golfers will be nervous until they get that very first tee shot under their belt.
The first tee shot is probably the most difficult because you've been thinking about that shot since the night before. Once you get that first shot out of the way, you calm down, you're a little more settled, you're not quite as anxious or nervous, and you sort of get into the rhythm of the round. You want to get off to the best start possible, and obviously that starts with that first tee shot.
Well, here he is, Rory McIlroy, a past U.S. Open champion, about to tee off on what should be an historic day of golf alongside the beautiful Puget Sound. Frank, looked like a nice balanced swing.
Well, the free-flowing action that we find synonymous with Rory McIlroy in display, even under the nervousness of an opening tee shot in the final round of a US Open, and just blitzed it down the fairway.
That one carried a long way, stayed up in the sky forever. Oh, come on, that's not even human. That's ridiculous. That is 350 plus yards. Let's see what McIlroy does now with his second. Seems to like it. Looks like it's headed for the green. Looks to be a good one, Frank.
Oh, nestles inside 15 feet, so a birdie chance coming up for Rory.
Frank, to win this many majors this young is impressive. It's historic. What makes McIlroy so good?
He runs to the beat of a different drum. It's his own rhythm, it's his own style. He's critiqued sometimes, I've done it, where, some poor decision making, but in the end he's naturally aggressive, and that's why we see these sparks of brilliance. That's his way of playing, and to be perfectly honest now, I hope he doesn't change that. And early advantage, Mcllroy.
I think making putts early in a round is very important. It sets the tone for the day and it gives you some positive momentum early. You see the ball go into the hole and it gives you confidence. You face a downhill putt at a US Open with greens that are as tricky as that. It just makes it even more difficult. I feel like you always face important putts no matter when it is, but obviously they're that much more important when, you know, it's the final round of a major.
Now over to the second. McIlroy with a challenging downhill putt. And I know it's early, but this is the type of putt that can really generate some momentum for the rest of the day.
Well, this putt's only 12 feet, Rich, but it's downhill. And because of that, it's going to be very, very fast. You're almost going to putt this like it's only about 8 feet long. Allow the speed of the green to take it the extra distance.
Down at the bottom of the barrel. Good start for Rory McIlroy. Back-to-back birdies. So second shot here at the fourth, and this one sets up pretty well for McIlroy, doesn't it, Frank?
It's an easy one for him to work out. A little bit uphill, perhaps a club. And with 165 yards, playing closer to 170, 175, still a birdie opportunity. It's a good strike, good swing by McIlroy, and no problem finding the putting surface.
It's a big putt right here for birdie. Looks like he just misread that. Well, you're not going to make that putt all the time, but you'd like to at least get it to the hole.
If he keeps putting like that, he's going to be an announcer in no time.
Well, he knew it right from the start. Just a poor putt.
There's some times when there might be a wait on a tee box, or you've played your shot and you're waiting on your playing partners to hit their shots, and you just look around and you realize where you are, because you don't really you don't appreciate it that much whenever you're playing, and that's not what you're thinking about. You're thinking about trying to win a golf tournament and not really taking in the beauty of your surroundings.
Heat of a U.S. Open championship, you're thinking about grinding out pars, but it's hard to miss this view, Frank. They call it Olympus, and with good reason.
It certainly is. A lovely view, virtually, of the whole golf course from here. But this hole, that's the one that Rory's going to worry about right now. Downhill, so it's going to play well short of its normal yardage. Going to have to club accordingly. And look at the shape of that green, how it angles from the left to the right. Consequently, when that flag is on that right section, you have to fly that ball every inch of the way.
Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either.
Well, we'll never know if that had gone in, because it never made it.
Has this to save par. Wow, almost fell within just a few inches of dropping. Nudge this one home, finish it up. And he makes it for a bogey here. Now it is Martin Keimer all alone. Not unlike that tree out in the distance. They actually call that one Lone Fir here at 15. So McIlroy is the chaser.
And not only is he chasing, Rich, he has to get this up and down. Very difficult flop shot. This is a high-risk shot. Trying to get that ball up very quickly over the little pot bunk and then somehow get the ball to land soft on these very fast and very firm greens. It's a big green. Just managed to get it smack bang in the middle of it. Rich, you get that feeling if there's going to be a moment. I think that moment is now.
Trying to clean this up, make his par. You love to watch him disappear, don't you?
Final few holes to play, especially of a major championship like the US Open. You know, it's what you've worked so hard for. It's what, you know, you've put all those hours of practice in for, and you know, this is your moment. This is your moment to see what you've got against the best players in the world and test yourself at the ultimate level. There's obviously a lot of pressure. You know, you don't want to let an opportunity like this pass you by. You don't want to let it slip. So to stay really focused, really concentrated, try to take one shot at a time, try and put the result out of your mind, control what you can control. But saying that, it is difficult with so many things going on around you, whether it be the crowd or it could be the person that you're going up against. You know, there's so many things that you can't control, but you know, the things that you can control, that's what you have to concentrate on, and that's what you have to try and, you know, do to the best of your ability. And if you can do that, that's what gives you the best chance to try and win a huge tournament like the US Open.
So here at the 17th hole, tie atop the leaderboard, two former US Open champions, 2 holes to play. This is one of golf's best moments.
We talked about mental toughness on the first tee. It certainly comes into play here right now, and the 17th hole is named Derailed. And it is going to be more than a test for both of these and could very well be the defining hole.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid.
And it was almost like that's what he wanted to do, but why would you want it to run over the back? Second shot.
And he's made it onto the green now.
So McIlroy now just to clean up and stay even with Keimer.
Par for McIlroy, but you're just waiting for that moment when he hits that accelerator and pulls away. One hole left to play here at the United States Open Championship. It all comes down to this. Frank, what does Rory need to do here off the tee?
Well, he has a big advantage, Rich. It's unusual actually to have a par 5 in a US Open as a finishing hole. He's slightly longer than Keimer off the tee, so he has more chance of reaching this par 5 and 2.
Wayward from the tee. Frank, the great thing about these major championships is the slow build-up to moments just like this, and then it gets really tense.
It's a dream scenario, Rich. You just dream that you're going to have the 2 best players in the game vying it out, coming down to the very last hole. That's exactly what we have right now. So far, they've provided great golf. It's going to take something even better than that right now to determine who's going to win.
It's in the bunker. So, third shot now for Rory McIlroy. This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say.
So McIlroy is on the dance floor, but a good ways from the hole. You could hear a pin drop right now. It all comes down to this. Rory McIlroy to win the US Open. So a long putt there and just didn't read it quite right. These putts keep the round together. The door was open, but Martin Kaymer slammed it shut. Kaymer, the U.S. Open champion yet again. It came down to the final hole. Kaymer really put on a show. This will forever be remembered as one of the best finishes in major championships.
Lose a lead or you lose a major, or it doesn't quite work out the way you had hoped. At that moment in time, there's obviously a lot of disappointment, but I think that passes and you use that as motivation for the next one. And that's the only way you can view it. You can't feel sorry for yourself, or you can't get down about it, because what's happened's happened. The past is the past, and you move on. But you use it as motivation not to let it happen again. My toughest loss was the 2011 Masters, when I had a 4-shot lead going into the final round, and completely blew up on the back nine. It was a very tough moment for me. It was very disappointing, but I used that as motivation to say to myself, that's not going to happen again. That's not the player I am. That's not the player I want to be. I used it in a way that 70 days later, I won my first US Open and my first major. So sometimes disappointments can be catalysts for good things to happen in the future, and it's just how you react to it. And I feel like, if you react to your disappointments in the right way, they can be very beneficial.
Presented by EA Sports and the PGA Tour. Frank, amazing. They've been playing golf on these hallowed links lands since the 15th century.
And hopefully they'll play for many and more a year, because every great player that's ever played this game has walked over Swilcan Bridge.
Frank, this is no ordinary opening tee shot. This is the opening shot at the old course at St. Andrews. So are you inspired, intimidated, nervous? Where are the emotions at?
Oh, all of the above. And this opening tee shot will never get old, that's for sure. It looks like a wide open hole. Really, you don't want to be looking right or left because it's out of bounds, even though it's a well way right and a long way left. You basically aim it at the 17th green is a good line for your opening tee shot.
Excellent opening tee shot. That ball right in the fairway. Let's see what the dominant number one player can do. Rory Mcllroy now on the approach shot. That is an excellent play right there. The approach, giving him another good look. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. That's not how you picture it, Frank, when you step on that first tee.
No, you'd like to go back to that first tee right now and start again.
Just a couple of feet. Routine stuff for Rory. That's a par. Now to the second hole here at the Open Championship. And Frank, what's the best way to attack?
Ideally, if you're not the longest hitter, just down the right side. But if you've got some wind conditions, wind behind your back, you can nearly drive this green. Ah, nice.
Looks good. And that's going to stay on the fairway here at the second hole. Second shot. Good look at the green.
He's safely on deck.
Outstanding strike right there, right off the center of the club face, and a good chance for birdie. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. -1 in the early going. At the third hole now, Frank, it looks relatively easy, but you know there's some danger lurking somewhere out there on the old course.
There is. There's the pot bunkers down the right side. This is a tee where really you want to have an idea where that wind is coming from. If it's into your face, you might want to be a little cautious and go towards the middle of the golf course. But if it's behind you, well, then it's worth challenging that right side.
Not quite what he wanted. Tee shot is in the bunker. In the greenside bunker, Frank, little bit of a problem. Great shot coming out of that bunker right there.
Showing some skills today.
Frank going for another birdie here.
Just to get on a real roll.
Wow, I thought he made that. Well, that would have been a bonus had it gone in, but still, reasonable chance for par here.
Yeah, there's no damage. You're not going to birdie every hole.
Just a tap in to finish the hole. Did the job right there. Frank, the challenge begins to intensify here at the fourth.
Yeah, a bit risky if you try and hit it down the right side. Just about every player I've seen over the years has sort of aired a little bit to the left. That's a safer tee shot, but it does set up a very daunting second. There's something about a well-hit shot.
Oh, this looks good.
Certainly is. One of the things I think that's captivated the audience now with Rory Mcllroy is he's doing things that we thought only one other player could do, and that's Tiger Woods. When you can streak fields in a major championship by, nearly double figures, that's when you're in a class of your own. And I know that's stating the obvious.
He has a gear, Frank, that I don't think other players have. You might be rolling along at 95 miles per hour and you think you're moving and you look to your right and you blink and go, who was that? Somebody just went by me, and he's doing 125 and making it look easy. This kid is really special. Get down, lay down. Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
That's still not done. A good third shot, maybe get away here with par. Another good swing, another good approach shot.
Settles in over the putt. Oh, you can see the frustration. Almost kicked his putter head right there with a drop shot here at the fourth. Trying to get out of here without too many bumps and bruises. This one is for bogey. So with that, the score is now at even par. Hole number 5 of the first par 5 we've seen today. This fairway looks like it narrows quite a bit, Frank. Are you thinking eagle when you step up onto the tee?
Well, you could, especially if you've got a little bit of breeze behind you, but it's quite wide in the driving area with the exception of those 3 bunkers on the right that just sort of pop out. But if you can get it past those, this par 5, very reachable.
Frank, he is one of the longest hitters in the game, but at some point, you have to hit a fairway.
Yeah, he's certainly not the straightest. I think that was the bit you're going to put in the middle.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. One thing about the old course at St. Andrews, it is not just the golf course, which makes the experience so memorable. It's the setting. It's the small town. It's people hanging out of the windows and watching. It's all the history. You just bathed in it when you walk into that grand old town of St. Andrews. He's set up for his third shot here, looking to get it on the green with this. Well, that's how you play the game right there. Knock it on the green and give yourself a good look at birdie.
Really? This is an awkward length.
Never quite had enough oomph on that.
Yeah, sort of a wishy-washy stroke.
Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Good roll, solid. That's a par. Now at the 6th, not a particularly long hole, Frank, par 4.
Yeah, semi-blind tee shot. You've got an idea where you want to hit, but there's a series of 3 bunkers. They're called the coffins down the left side, as well as some pop bunkers down the right. So this requires a very accurate tee shot.
This could be really good, Frank.
Oh, straight at it.
Frank couldn't ask for anything more.
Just the lie there, too. It is sitting up like it's teed up.
Settles in, looking to knock it in tight. Good, clean contact and a nice result, and a chance for birdie coming up.
It's at sneaky distance.
Came to the putt excited to make birdie. Now, settle for par.
Yeah, a little change in the attitude right now. When you've let one go, you've got to really knuckle down there and make sure you don't drop a shot. It's important this one goes in.
Drops it, and he's at even par. Now, 7th hole here at the old course, Frank.
Ideal line, just hit your tee shot over the march stone. The bunker on the 11th green actually often comes into play, called the shell bunker. So anything a little bit right of that, but very difficult green for the approach shot coming up.
Not missing by much today, but enough to again be in the bunker. Digs in, ready for the bunker shot.
Yeah, second shot here. Just try and aim a little bit behind that ball, an inch or two.
So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. Let's see if he does it here.
Steady all day long. That one about 20 feet away. He'll settle. Getting set now over the putt. That is a painful bogey at the 7th hole. Just a shade over par, +1. Standing on the tee at the par 3 8th here at the Old Course. And Frank, what are we looking at here?
One of the biggest greens on the golf course. It looks flat, it looks like it's easy, but once that flag gets on the left side, this is when the hole becomes a little bit more difficult. It's very easy to take this hole for granted. Very hard to hit it close, though.
Good swing, good shot yet again. That's a beautiful shot, and that sets him up for a really easy putt. Shouldn't be a problem here. That's a birdie for Mcllroy. He's just so explosive. Rounding out the opening 9 here at St. Andrews. And Frank, this par 4 features a couple of fairway bunkers that players will have to contend with.
Yeah, this hole is a fun hole when you first stand on that tee and look at it. You see those bunkers smack bang in the middle of the fairway. The last bunker there in the middle is called the end hole. This hole is called the end. But this green, too, is so flat, very, very difficult to read. But if you get there, pull the head cover off the driver. Remember, this is the only chance you get to play the Old Course.
Drivable par 4, not for most in this field, but for this guy, yes, he has just knocked it on. What a shot. Well, that ball nestled down just a bit in that heavy rough. Ball sitting down here in the rough. He's digging in.
Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus.
That was cruel. That looked like it was certainly going in.
Well, you can see the golfer is just boiling right now after that miss and a drop shot here at the 9th.
Even par currently.
Putt drops, now at 1 over par. Now at the 10th, and Bobby Jones loved this hole, didn't he?
And that's why it's been renamed Bobby Jones. Drivable for a lot of the players, but if you're going to have a crack at this green, avoid the gorse down the left side, as well as the 2 pot bunkers that are in line with the right side of this green.
What was he thinking there?
I have no earthly idea.
So Frankie is leaning, and it appears as though this one's headed a bit right.
And it just came out of it.
Coming out of the rough and right up next to the hole. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Putt for par. He needs one. Routine stuff for Rory. That's a par. Hole number 11, the Eden, is really the finest medium-length one-shotter in all of golf, isn't it, Frank?
Well, this hole's been copied by many an architect for the reasons why it's normally very, very difficult to make a hole of this length, or should I say this short, so difficult. But they've managed to do that here at Eden with that Strath bunker in the front and the severe sloping on either side of that bunker.
Boy, that can really be brutal, can it?
It certainly does. And if you have any doubt there, you'll come unstuck at 11. Now, this is not heading in the right direction.
Well, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. Into the thick stuff. That's a difficult lie. He'll need to be strong with this. Solid play, heart of the green. And getting ready for the putt. Solid effort and reasonable result to stay at 1 over par. Frank, the charm of St. Andrews, the history of the old course, it all sort of comes into view here at the 12th, doesn't it?
Yeah, very pretty hole. Eden estuary to the right, and obviously a nice view of the township of St Andrews in the distance. But long hitters can just lick their chops and have a crack at this green. All they've got to do is worry about that little pop bunker short. But either into the breeze, or if you're not a long hitter, you've got to worry about those 4 bunkers that are well placed smack bang in the middle of this fairway.
And as he strides up here to the 12th green, having hit it in regulation, he knows now that his work is by no means done. A long putt coming up. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
Looks like he just misread that. These putts keep the round together. How about a third birdie on the round? Frank, how about the bunkers here at 13? A rather ominous sounding name.
Yeah, the coffins, and they are that for a reason. If you finish up in there, well, the best you'll probably ever do is make a bogey, unless you're an absolute genius. They're to be avoided, certainly off the tee. If you do, it's still a difficult hole. The second shot, unless you hit a perfect tee shot, will be blind.
Well, he pays a price for that.
Yeah, when you don't see the top of the ball in the rough, you know it's not sitting pretty. Gonna need a bit of force to extract one out of there.
Set to go. Not an easy shot by any means. Should be pretty good right there. On the safe side. On the green. And a chance for a birdie. Frankie's going for 2 birdies in a row.
If he can knock this one in, then that's certainly going to help the confidence. Oh, how did that miss?
Are you kidding me? I mean, that one was dead center. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. That's a par, and that keeps the scorecard clean, still even for the round. Frank, you can actually play this 14th hole by taking a detour to another hole on the front side. Explain.
Yeah, that's the 4th hole. The 4th hole is adjacent to the 14th, and if you're in a little bit of trouble off the tee, There's nothing wrong with playing the 14th as a zigzag style par 5. So that means the drive, if it doesn't go down the right, you go further left and then back to the green. But it's a safer way, but a much longer option. Oh, if this is up, it's good. Oh, that's fine.
Excellent position and just a huge shot.
Second shot.
Frank, it hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
You wonder what he's thinking on that.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Midway through this back nine, could use this birdie here at the 14th.
Really? This is that awkward length.
Wow, he got robbed, Frank.
No, it's like kissing your mother-in-law.
Par for McIlroy, but you're just waiting for that moment when he hits that accelerator and pulls away. Time to tee it up here at the 15th as we begin the closing stretch here at the Open Championship of the Old Course at St. Andrews.
There's a big steeple in the distance, so even when it starts to fog in a bit, if you can keep your eye on that, that's a good line off the tee. And you've got to keep it, your tee shot just short of this sort of heather, big crop of heather down the left side. It still leaves you a lengthy second shot, but really that's the safest way to try and play this par 4 15th. Very good par 4.
Frank, that is position A.
Yeah, the tee shot was like silk, Rich. I mean, just sets up that second shot so beautifully.
Let's see what the dominant number one player can do. Rory McIlroy now on the approach shot. This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say.
That's well played. And now a good look at birdie. Locked in on the read and the speed. Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par, and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect, but it is going to hurt the cause.
Drops it, and he's at even par. Headed for home now, partner. The 16th hole, and what are we looking at here?
Well, you have to avoid the principal's nose. Otherwise, you're going to finish up in the principal's office. long and straight.
That's how you do it. 315. Let's see what Mcllroy does now with his second. Moving a little to the right of the flagstick. See if he can get this one to drop here at the 16th for a birdie.
It's no snack, though. Obviously, you can't make them all from that distance, Rich, but you'd like to give it a real good run.
Settles in over the putt. Solid par. Now at the 17th tee, and Frank, this is really when you begin to feel the weight and the history of the old course bearing down on you.
And you also feel the nerves as well, because you're having to hit it not just at a fairway or over a bush, but over the corner of an out of bounds. And you'll see there's a little sign up there that says Old Course and Country Club. So you've got to pick the exact letter for the line that you want to hit it across. Hit it down the right side, this hole certainly becomes shorter. Left, you find the left and short, you find the road hole bunker. A little right and long, and well, there's a chance of going out of bounds or on the road itself.
That one is just a little offline, and that will not end up in the fairway. Second shot coming out of the rough here. Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
That's still not done. A good third shot, maybe get away here with par.
Frank, you like his chances to walk away with a par here?
Well, with a good shot, Rich, yeah, that's certainly on the cards in that. And you think you just write a par down at the end of the hole. Don't tell anyone about it. It certainly won't affect the scorecard at the end of the day. So that's the goal right here. Another good swing, another good approach shot. It's at sneaky distance.
So close. That's just a poor putt right there. No other way to say it. And a drop shot, a bogey at 17. Not a gimme, but well within his range. That really hurts, Frank, missing the bogey putt.
Yeah, now time to get the handkerchief. Double bogey coming up.
And getting ready for the putt. Oh, man.
Just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Just a tap in to finish the hole. So, with that, 3 over par now for the round. Headed for home now with a Royal and Ancient behind the green, a chance to cross the Swilken Bridge, just as Jack Nicklaus did, as Arnold Palmer did, as so many of the legends of the sport have done. This is a special place in the game. Excellent looking shot here. Those are good numbers right there. 320, 320 yards. Just crushed it in the fairway. Second shot, good look at the green. This is a good-looking shot. Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on there. Easy birdie.
Add him up, and it comes to 74 for the day. Frank, it really was vintage St. Andrews today in so many ways. Just a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, the old course has so many great memories. Obviously, when it crowns the 2015 Open champion, it will add another great name to its already impressive roster. But for anybody to play this great golf course, it's a chance to be linked with the past and the future of the game.
Couldn't have said it better myself, pal. And with that, for my colleague Frank Nobilo, I'm Rich Lerner for EA Sports saying so long from the home of golf, St. Andrews. This is EA Sports PGA Tour coverage coming up next. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside my friend and colleague Frank Nobilo. Frank, we've arrived at one of the more unusual golf courses in the United States. We're in the state of Washington, Chambers Bay. What's it all about?
Well, apart from the scenery, Rich, which is magnificent, this is a walking golf course, so it's a chance to get out there, strut your stuff, and see if you got a game to match.
It's a links golf course. We think of links golf. We think of the home of golf in Scotland. Here we're in the northwest part of the United States, though.
Yeah, but Scotland's, well, it's transferred a little piece of land all the way across the Atlantic.
So we're ready to get the round going here at Chambers Bay, and we'll begin, Frank, at the first with a par 4.
496 yards, obviously that'll stretch anybody out there. That bunker down the right is very much in play. The fairway does narrow out too, just short of that. So this really is going to require one of your best tee shots. Semi-blind second shot, a relatively big green. Plus, with Rory, the chat in the locker room, when you hear someone say, I couldn't hit that shot he just hit today, that's when you know you're different.
How about the 2 eagles he made in the final 3 holes Saturday, round 3, on his way to winning the Open Championship in 2014?
That was phenomenal. 16 was virtually unreachable for most of the field. 2 phenomenal shots. And obviously he's in a tussle with Ricky Fowler. And then to top it off, that 5-iron he hit into 18 was just, it never left the flagstick. Yeah, he has that ability just to hit the gas pedal at the right time.
In the world of professional golf, there exists an elite club. A club filled with legends, household names, and rising stars. A club where membership is earned yearly with time, sweat and dedication. This week, 50 players will gain entry into this exclusive fellowship. The top 25 from the regular season have already secured their spots, and another 25 spots are up for grabs here this week. Some dreams will be realized. Others will have to wait another day. Who will be next to join the likes of Jason Duffner, Grant Snedeker, and Keegan Bradley as the next great Web.com Tour graduate? EA Sports and the Web.com Tour proudly present opening round coverage of the Web.com Tour Championship. Getting set now for first round coverage of the Web.com Tour Championship. This is the fourth and final stop of the Web.com Tour Finals. And Frank, this is always a pressure-packed environment.
It is, but also a chance to see the raw talent that'll be on display for many a year. And at this tender stage, these players are powerful, talented, and often brilliant.
Let's go down to the 11th. Been a steady performance so far early in this first round, but at some point, Frank, they need to take steady to spectacular.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Rich, and really sooner rather than later, that's for sure. But yeah, steady becomes boring if it stays on for too long.
Frank, that was a good drive.
Rich, this is the player that I'm really curious to see how they do long term. Tons of power. There's talent. You can see that. Anybody can pick that up. And the touch, too, and the skill required. It's not just about long hitting. This player seems to have all the goods. And I know we talk about it on a regular basis, but I think this particular talent is special.
Has a great resume, too. We've known about this player since they were in the junior ranks, #1 ranked junior player in the world, went on to have a phenomenal collegiate career, played well on the amateur level. So at every step, Frank has been successful, has been a winner. EA Sports is proud to present today's PGA Tour coverage. This is Rich Lerner alongside my colleague Frank Novello for EA Sports, calling all the action for today's event. We are here at Wolf Creek Golf Club. It's located in Mesquite, Nevada. Frank, if I didn't know that it was Mesquite, Nevada, I think we landed on the moon and they built the golf course here. This is just mind-boggling.
Yeah, 100 years ago, you couldn't build a golf course like this here. Obviously, all the equipment needed, but in the end, it's wonderful. It's an absolute playground for anyone that sort of loves to play the game. It is desert golf, obviously because of the terrain, but the green oasis that cuts in between is each hole. It just sort of gives you a totally different experience because you keep having to remind yourself you are smack bang in the middle of the desert.
Not on the fairway here. This could be a tough shot coming up next. He'll need to be strong with this.
This is not heading in the right direction.
No, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. Frank, here we go again. Another shot from the rough.
Yeah, let's see if he learned his lesson.
Well, that's what separates the good players from the great players, the ability to get it that close from that kind of lie. Wow, he got robbed, Frank.
No, it's like kissing your mother-in-law.
Clean this up with a tap. Did the job right there. Frank, you need to be a bit of a rock climber just to get to this second tee. 445-yard hole. What a view. Today's coverage brought to you by EA Sports and the PGA Tour. Frank, it's just amazing what can be done today. Where you can build golf courses. On the moon? I mean, that's what this looks like here at Wolf Creek in Mesquite, Nevada.
And obviously it's an experience too that has to be played before you can thoroughly enjoy it, because you just wouldn't think this is possible. If someone said you can come out to the middle of the desert and you're going to play a phenomenal golf course, you'd say it's not possible. But as these holes intertwine around in the canyon area, just wonderful vistas, huge changes in elevations. Really, it's just a fun adventure.
Now down to the first tee to kick off the round. Par 5 to begin. Frank, what's it all about?
11 bunkers, Rich, really to be avoided between tee and green. elevated tee, so you can certainly reduce some of that yardage, 579, plus that thinner air. So it should be reachable for most of the long hitters. There's some trouble left, obviously, in that desert area and the water on the right, but two good shots, you never know. You might even get off to an eagle start.
Not quite what he was hoping for, the tee shot in the bunker. Missed the fairway in the fairway bunker now.
It's not all gloom and doom, though. Lip isn't too high. A good swing here still shouldn't be a problem.
Out of the sand and back on the fairway.
Yeah, good shot. Just really utilised that little bit between the ears. Realised he couldn't reach the green and instead opted for fairway.
He'll have 17 feet on this putt.
Really. This is an awkward length.
So they'll tap in. +1 in the early going. Here at the par 4, 445-yard second hole. Severe dogleg to the left. What's the best play here, Frank?
Well, that tee shot, Rich, is so intimidating, so you don't necessarily have to hit driver. Club decision is probably going to be important here because if you hit driver, you've got to take it down over that left side, all over the canyon area. So if you hit 3-wood, you can play a slightly more conservative tee shot, but it is going to leave you a longer second shot to a green that's well protected on the right side by bunkers. But really, you know, if the wind's not blowing, this is a really good fun hole to play. Look at the vistas.